Hi and welcome to Wickersley Angling Centre. Today I want to talk about ground baits, and this is something that's really deep in my heart, is ground baits. I was a ground bait rep for quite a few years for, as you can see, Den Eynde Groundbaits, and then we turned into bait tech in the later years. So ground baits has been a big part of my life and my working life, to be fair. These two ground baits what I've got in my hand here, I've just started going back on canal on to New Junction and Ayr and Cola, and because I do a lot more feeder fishing these days and things like that, we're moving on with ground baits and different things, so we're using a lot more fish meal ground baits and things like that. So I got a phone call the other day from one of my pals and says, "Al, we're struggling on canal." He says, "Will you come and fill in on team match for us on to Ayr and Calder at weekend?" I went, "Yeah, of course I will." He says, "It's going to be some ground bait feeder fishing and there's going to be a lot of fish to be caught on a pole." I've gone, "All right." He says it's a lot of pinkies and squat fishing and things like that, and you've got a mixture of fish to catch, roach, perch. I went, "Right, no problem, leave it with me." So I sat at home and I'm thinking, what ground bait am I going to use? Well, I can't use that nowadays because it's got this in it and it's got that in it. And I just went to my drawer and I thought, do you know something? These two ground baits what I've got in my hand here are two of the most iconic ground baits that have ever been made. And that includes your Dynamite's green swim stim and your Sonobaits, you know, F1 Dark and stuff like that. These two ground baits here have been around 35, 40 years to my knowledge. And you've got the Den Eynde Super Cup and the Den Eynde Super Match. Now these are two of the original iconic ground baits that came out of Belgium, as I say, all them years ago. And one of the other ones, and this one is called Secret, and this one is from Marcel van den Eynde himself, who obviously owned the company and what have you. This is the one he used to mix himself personally for his own fishing, even before he was with Van den Eynde, even before he formed the company. That is his own special ground bait, and he thought that ground bait was the best ground bait for roach ever made. And that always stuck in my mind, is that I never actually got to meet him, Marcel himself, even though we were with company a lot of years. He was poorly in the later years and what have you. But that one's his own favourite mix, what he used to like catching roach with, and it's the Den Eynde Secret. But these two in England, especially in England, these revolutionised ground bait fishing. We've got a couple of others as well, which I'll mention off one of our competitors, which is Census. And over the years, us and Census have had some good battles with bringing ground baits out. And obviously, they've got their iconic ground baits. And one of their iconic ones is Census Magic. That came out roughly the same time as this. And that's been around for a lot of years. Then we went on to Trent and they did the Record 72 and Z72, sorry. They did one called Record, which was a cloud one and things like that. And a lot of anglers will have never heard of some of these ground baits, but some of the older lads will go, bloody hell, I can remember that now. The old Picardy and the old paper bag, what used to for catching gudgeon and things like that. But in the Van den Eynde range, these two in England have been absolutely fantastic over the years. And they have caught more fish, especially obviously silverfish, than any other ground baits I know of. And we've got Den Eynde Super Match and Den Eynde Super Cup. Now, Super Cup was one of the original ones. The Super Match came out a little bit later. But basically, the Super Cup is a ground bait that you can catch loads of different fish on, roach, skimmers, things like that. It's a really versatile mix. Then obviously, as our fishing progressed, but the water started getting clearer, we found that the light coloured ground baits weren't quite as effective. So that's when that one came out then, the Super Match. And it is very, very similar to the Super Cup, as in texture and everything like that, but it's a darker mix. And when I went on canal the other day, I just thought, I've got to use my Van den Eyndes. I've used them for that long now and know them inside out, the ground baits and what they do and how to mix them. I thought, I'm just going to use Super Cup and Super Match as my base mix, and add a few other bits and pieces in like damp lean and stuff like that to cloud it up and get it down a bit quicker. But honestly, if you're after silverfish fish and you want to try some new ground baits, give the Den Eynde Super Cup and Super Match a go.